Hi, I'm Willie with H5 Technology and welcome to my channel. Thank you for being here. Holy cow, what an exciting weekend we had here in central Illinois. They were speculating we could get no snow, we could get snow, and where I'm at we ended up with 3 to 4 inches of sleet and then about 6 inches of snow on top of that. So it made for interesting Saturday, Sunday, and throwing off the schedule and everything. But what we're here to talk about tonight is we're going to take a closer look at the Ubiquiti intrusion prevention system. And I hand-picked a few things. We'll talk about a few of them. We'll look a few of them up, and then we're going to look under the hood at the IPS system. So there has been some speculation as what it's running. So we're going to log in, and we are going to see if we can figure out what it's running for sure. All right. So we've got our 5.7.20 site. You can see that we've got one active WAN, which would be our USG. Now, obviously this is in the lab, so I'm not getting as many hits. I was so surprised when we opened this document up, over 20, well, we're right at 20 pages. Thank you to everybody who contributed to this document. So there are some comments on the side talking about where the rules come from, and that we're either using snort or suricata, I don't know how to pronounce it. Somebody else says IPS uses suricata, and I think if I remember right, that's got like the pictures of the, not mongoose, some sort of an African animal, maybe from Africa. Can't remember. Anyway, we could look it up, but it's really not too important. But we will crawl underneath the hood and see if we can figure it out. We'll look on the cloud key. We'll look on the USG itself. Now, you have to realize that if Ubiquiti is using emerging threats rules, if they're using snort, if they're using suricata, I hope I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm sure you'll correct me. But Ubiquiti is late to the game here, but that doesn't mean that things are not going to work out. What I did was I cherry-picked just a few of these, and you can look at these and you probably have a good idea, but not everybody's going to understand this. And when you don't understand, you should just go out and look it up. And I mean, it's sometimes it's easy to find information, sometimes it's not. So let's see. I looked up this one because it came from DShield. So if we go back over here and we look for DShield, and which is right here. So what this is saying is that we have an intrusion prevention system alert 2. It's a miscellaneous attack. The signature is from DShield right here. This is the signature, and it's going to block listed source group 1 from this IP to this IP on ETH0. So Ron must have his WAN set to ETH0, and this must be the IP that he's getting. But it looks like it's trying to connect to 1723 TCP. So if we pull up DShield, we can put in the IP address that we see over here, which is this. So this is our source. This is where the attack is coming from, and it's coming to here. Now, I don't know if that's really, Ron's WAN address or not, but we are detecting this going to here, protocol TCP on ETH0. So I'm making some assumptions. So you can look and see all of the latest hits that are in the DShield site for this IP. And I don't know if we can do, we can do a summary. And it should summarize all of this in a second. I said that, and now the summary is taking forever. The closer I get to fiber internet, the slower my cable modem goes. All right, so if we scroll down, we can look. Risk on this IP between 0 and 10 is a 4. And so if you click here, you're going to get details on the risk and about how they come up with that number. So you can read this to give you good information. tells us where the IP is coming from, the country, the AS number of the block. This IP has had 449,273 reports. It was first reported on February 15th, and most recently reported was today. So they definitely have something going on with this IP, and you could send it over to abuse. They definitely need to look in, see what's going on. I don't know anything about this enforce.com. We could look it up and see what it is real quick. Let's see. So it looks like some sort of entertainment group. Looks like they've got some dedicated servers around the world. I'm assuming they've got all kinds of servers, so probably someone is using one of those servers or a device or something on that network for some sort of nefarious thing, and it's probably not somebody, you know, as many of these attacks that we are logging, you have to think it's not some kid or some person always sitting behind the keyboard. There are script kiddies that are out there. There are programs where, you know, people will take over a server and they'll run this program, and this program just goes out and indiscriminately searches the internet. Although I did see today that there is some new malware that is actually avoiding United States government IP addresses as it's trying to break into SSH. So they are wholly avoiding those IPs if they can, which is interesting. So there's definitely something going on, something coming from this IP, and it has had 64 listed targets. So they definitely need to check that out. So you can add your complaint to abuse at enforce.com. So the next one that I wanted to look at, let's see. Oh yeah, so here is another one. This is a miscellaneous attack, but it's Tor, and it's a known Tor relay router, but it's not the exit node. And so it looks like, I mean, if you just look at this, it looks like it could be Tor coming in and out of the network, but it's not necessarily, well, it says here it's not the exit node. I've never run Tor on an IDS IPS, so I don't know what it looks like, but I don't know how many false positives you could get for this, but it's definitely interesting. Because we've got another one. Here's another one. And this one says that it is a known Tor exit node. So you could try to track these down and find out where they're coming from and see if it's legit, or maybe you should take a look at your machine. I've already seen where this information has been used to actually find Trojans and things like that. Somebody wanted to know what Spamhaus was doing in here. So Spamhaus, if you have ever administered an email server, Spamhaus has probably, if you've ever been blacklisted, been the bane of your existence. They are a mother to get off of occasionally when you get blacklisted. Especially, I had an occasion one time where we got an entire Class C of IP. So that's 254 usable, real routable, non-RFC IP addresses. They came from AT&T, and they had been used for dial-up internet, and they were flagged as such. And so the person who helped us get that block did not straighten that out. We put our email server on there, and everything's good for about 2 minutes. And we're talking a very large company that I worked for what they do. We were almost instantly blacklisted, and it took in my opinion, it took longer to get off of the blacklist than it should have. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks to get off of the blacklist, and trying to get anybody to talk to you over there, you might as well just be trying to talk to me during this video, and that's about how good the response was from Spamhaus. But that being said, they have different lists. So they've got the reverse blacklist that you use for spam, but they've got this drop list, and the drop or don't route or peer list, which is what drop stands for, are IP addresses that they suspect has compromised traffic or other kinds of nefarious things, things that are hijacked and things like that, the IPs get on this list. So this drop that we're seeing here, this miscellaneous attack signature from the drop spam house, this IP to here, I mean, it hit, you know, we got a positive match on the signature, so, you know, IPS is going to drop that traffic. So if that's not legit traffic, man, good luck getting off the spam house list. Yeah, good luck with that. So go out here, take a look at it. Another one that I found on the Tor that I wanted to talk about, because you will see if you go back, this document is now in read-only mode, the explain. But if you go back and you look, you're going to see a ton of the Tor traffic. And it's like, are there that many people really running Tor? No, probably not. So in looking around, what I found, this is out on the Synology forum, is that somebody else, because Synology, you know, if you've looked at their routers, they also have IDS, IPS, but they have a lot of this traffic too, and it turns out that in the case of the Synology, that it was it was actually NTP being flagged, so it was a false positive. So you got to look at the ports. You have to analyze the whole thing. We can't just look at this and take it for face value sometimes. Sometimes you can. You know, it depends how it's written and things like that. But, you know, things get miscategorized all the time. There is so much noise on the internet that you cannot even make an apology for miscategorizing. Even if we were to miscategorize 500,000 hits, you can't even really apologize for that, because there's so much crap that happens all the time on the internet. Here's another one, and this one is what I was talking about. Like, when you look at these, it could be really easy. So we've got an IPS Alert 1, a network Trojan was detected. Here is the signature. It was the Ask toolbar, and this is from our internal from an internal IP, an RFC address, 192.168, to this external port 80, right? So this thing, you know, the port that you generate from does not have to match the source port. I mean, that would be a nightmare trying to do a one-to-one communication all the time, which is why you'll usually see source ports don't always match the destination port. But the destination port is usually lined up with a service, so that is going to be correct. And then we get into ports, and then we get into sockets and all that kind of stuff, and we can talk about that a little later. But it looks like the Ask toolbar is sending information from this machine to this IP. Gene, thank you for submitting that. And it looks like we probably, I would imagine, I don't know if we dropped it or what. I'm assuming we dropped the traffic. And then here's another one where we're talking about CNC servers, so control servers, and this is from another, once again internally, from a non-RFC address out to an SSL based. So there's something going on here, command and control server. This could be infected. This could also be a false positive. I don't know what the profile of this machine is. So that is something that Terry in Michigan is going to want to look at. Run a Malwarebytes on it, run an antivirus scan on it, take a look at that machine and see, you know, this could, I mean, it very well could be some sort of a browser extension, or it could be legitimate malware. So take the time. If you don't understand what these are saying, take the time, go out there and Google, because you're not the only one, you know, that is getting this. And so somebody said that they think that this is Snort, or it's Cirata, or Circata, or Sriracha, or whatever it is. And I jest. It's just a fun name to say. So don't get upset because I'm not pronouncing that correctly. So let's hop into the. That's my cloud key. that you see there, and I'm going to get rid of that. But let's hop into the USG and poke around a little bit and see if we can find out what's going on. So our USG is going to be 2.1, and what I got to do real quick is I actually have to pause this video and I have to put my PC behind the USG. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Alright, so we're behind our USG. So we're going to go ahead and log in with our super secret credentials. And as always, you get a warning that lets you know that any configuration changes made here will not be persistent, and when you provision, they will be overwritten. So what we can do is we'll do a sudo su will become root. So now we're cruising around the Linux subsystem, and we'll go to the etc, however you want to pronounce it, folder. And we'll take a look at the files here. So I'm looking for something that says, and that's the thing, I don't even know if it's actually running on the USG or if it's running on the cloud key. I'm not sure what the combination is here. So let's see. Just do a quick look. Oh, there's squids 3, squid guard. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything that says snort here, but that doesn't mean anything because I'm not 100% sure what the not 100% sure. There's fail to ban, free radius, IPsec. So I didn't see snort or serrata. I can never pronounce it correctly. Anyway, I'm not seeing that here. Maybe it's under the security folder. Doesn't look like it. What else? Let's see. Services is not a directory, it is a file. Let's see here. Yep, this just shows us our standard services. So let's do this. Let's exit out. Let's do a show configuration, because I'm assuming there's something in the configuration of the USG on the back end that's going to show us IDS, IPS is enabled. Makes sense, right? And if we can't just look at the file system and tell, we will just start picking this thing apart. And this is how you learn. You get in here, you don't be afraid to poke around the file system and take a look. These are all firewall rules. Firewall rules, firewall rules. There's some port forwarding happening. Alright, let's see. Packets to the internet. Okay, there's our GeoIP configuration. See, we blocked a couple countries there. So far, I'm not seeing anything in the configuration itself that points to that service. Okay, so here's IPS, alien enable, homenet, ETH1, Tor enabled, signature scheduler, 24. So it just says enabled there. UTM, device ID, token. So I didn't see anything that said snort, or so I mean, But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if they're taking the software and they're making it their own, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to poke around, see if I can find anything, and I'll be right back. Okay, so after I started thinking about it, I said, "Man, I'll just see what's running in the file system." And so it is Suricata. So whoever said Suricata is right, and it looks like, you know, I'm not 100% sure what they're doing with it. I don't think it's stored locally. Could be wrong. So we can go, because there's that token. So that token makes me, I don't know. I don't know much about Suricata, to be honest with you. I've always used Snort or some other proprietary systems, but here is all the configuration for Suricata. And yeah, this is it. So, but I got to imagine that they are collecting this data. So here's all of your rules. You can see how big some of the files are. Now, you know, they have to be careful about how much, you know, they put on the USG. I mean, it's got very limited amount of resources, and right now it's not set up so that we can expand it. So you can see, you know, they've got to be careful. You've only got about a gig. Yeah, 1.2 gig there, and it looks like maybe 1.6 gig there, but I don't know how these two tie together. But yeah, this is it. So if you want to mess around under the hood, now I don't know what this alien list is. It is big. I don't know if that's if that's our blacklist of IPs. That's kind of what it looks like to me, is that it's a blacklist of IPs. So yeah, poke around. You know, okay, so here we are. We're using DShield rules. There's emerging threats rules. Not sure what this one is off the top of my head, but yeah, all these different, here's Tor, and then here's ubiquity rules. So you can see, here's the spam house drop. So if you want to see what rule sets this thing's using, and they're all under the opt UniFi IPS rules directory. So this is, I swear to you, this is the first time that I've ever looked through this. So I turned it on, I used it, I collected everything from you guys. We took a look at how it is working, and then we poked around a little bit to find out, you know, under the hood to find out what's going on. So that's it. And thank you for everybody for participating. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please comment and share. Please follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You can use the link down there, h5llc.com, to not only get on the H5 mailing list in case this YouTube thing goes away, but you can also contact me for consulting, best practices, and we deal with, you know, everything from server implementation, virtualization, all the way to networking, network design, Wi-Fi design, best practice, you know, wireless backhaul links, you name it with networking, we probably do it, and we do it very well. Not only Ubiquiti, but Grandstream and some of the other providers as well. If you're looking for gear, the Amazon shop's down there. I appreciate anybody who buys through the Amazon shop. Doesn't change your price, but kicks a few bucks this way. And that's it for this video. Plenty more coming this week. As always, I appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next video.